Outside the Red Box, insights into global research equipment distribution. Welcome to the Outside the Red Box podcast, your go-to podcast for insights on growing and scaling life science brands globally. Brought to you by Redbox Direct, we specialize in outsourced sales, distribution, and manufacturing for scientific instruments, with over 20 years of hands-on experience. Let's get started with today's episode.
Welcome back to the deep dive. Okay, so if you're a manufacturer, maybe making complex scientific gear, you have this dream, right? Taking your amazing tools global. But then there's the frustration. You hand your product line over to an international sales partner, close the door, and suddenly your whole foreign operation is just a mystery. We hear this all the time from leaders. They feel like they're shipping these incredibly valuable instruments, sometimes millions of dollars worth, into this void. A sales void. They often call it the black box problem. You put your equipment in one end, you hope for the best, and maybe you see a few orders trickle out the other side, but everything in between. Which labs are actually keen? What technical questions are they asking? Why did that promising deal just evaporate? It's all hidden. So our mission today, let's try and crack open that black box. We want to reveal the structural flaws inside that pretty much guarantee it fails eventually, and then show you what happens when you actually introduce transparency to your international sales.
Yeah, and this isn't just speculation. This deep dive is really grounded in some very clear thinking, specifically from an article called From Black Box to Red Box. It's written by Rory Gagan, who's a director at Redbox Direct. And it really lays out the perfect framework for understanding this whole issue, why that initial model using distributors, while it's often necessary at the start, why it eventually becomes this huge liability for visibility, and for sustainable growth.
Right. That initial model, let's call it the starter motor phase. Because we should acknowledge, distributors aren't inherently bad, are they? They solve a big, immediate problem.
No, not at all.
They're like that starter motor in your car. It gets the engine turning over when you're maybe still focused on R&D back home.
Precisely. They're often the most logical, sometimes even the only choice for that very first step into a new region.
Yeah.
Sensible, critical even.
Okay, so let's say you're a medium-sized manufacturer. Why pick this route initially? Apart from it just seeming easier, what are the real practical upsides?
Well, it really boils down to about 4 key things. Tangible advantages. First, you get immediate boots on the ground, like instant access to a local sales channel. No need to spend years hiring, training.
Right. Saves a lot of time and effort up front.
Huge amounts. Second, you get market intelligence straight away. They already know who's who, the key labs, the regional quirks,
Okay, makes sense.
Third, they provide this really crucial logistical cover. They take on all those headaches, importation, local invoicing rules, chasing payments, which can be really tough internationally.
Yeah, nobody enjoys chasing payments.
Definitely not. And fourth, the obvious one, cost saving. I mean, compared to setting up a full dedicated foreign office yourself, it's significantly cheaper, especially early on when funds might be tight.
So it's a necessary shortcut, really. Gets you those first few sales overseas, minimizes your initial risk, lets you test the waters in a new place. But, and here's the catch, the structure itself has this kind of ticking time bomb built in. That starter motor, if you try and run the whole car on it forever, it's just going to burn out.
That's the perfect analogy. It's not designed for the long haul.
So let's talk about that moment, when the engine starts to stall. If your distributor is maybe hitting their basic quotas, why does this black box model inevitably start to fail when the manufacturer wants to really scale up, seriously grow?
It fails because it's structural. The interests just start aligning. The manufacturer wants, total open growth, scale, market penetration. The distributor, their primary interest shifts towards self-preservation. And secrecy becomes their main tool, their shield, really.
Secrecy is self-defense. Okay, that sounds like a fundamental lack of trust, doesn't it? But, isn't some level of secrecy normal in competitive markets?
Oh, yeah.
Protecting their own business intelligence?
It might be, if it wasn't meant to be a long-term growth partnership.
Yeah.
But the core conflict here, the real friction, is the distributor's constant fear. Fear of being replaced. Think about it. If they give you everything, their complete customer list, detailed pipeline data, names and contacts for every single key scientist and lab tech. They know you, the manufacturer, could easily use that exact data. You could hire maybe one local salesperson, thank the distributor for their service, cut them out entirely, and boom, set up your own small office later.
Using their own hard-won contacts against them.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So because they feel this vulnerability, They guard that data fiercely. And that directly leads to underinvestment in the long term.
How so?
Well, why would a distributor spend serious time, serious money on long-term brand building? Things like, say, a 2-year outreach campaign targeting new university departments. If they strongly suspect they might not even be your partner anymore when that investment finally starts paying off, they just won't do it. They hold back on anything that doesn't give an immediate return. Critical long-term growth gets stifled.
Wait, I remember something specific from the source here. This idea of a fear of success. Are you saying a distributor might actually deliberately slow down sales? That sounds crazy, like shooting themselves in the foot.
It does sound counterintuitive, yeah. But it's a paradox, and it's driven purely by risk management from their side. If they become too successful with your product line, too dependent on it, their entire business becomes incredibly vulnerable if you, the manufacturer, suddenly decide to change strategy or pull out.
So they might cap the growth.
They might hold back growth, yeah, just to maintain a diverse product portfolio and reduce their reliance on this one potentially unstable foreign partnership. It's ironic, but it happens.
Wow. Okay, if that's going on behind the scenes, the manufacturer is completely blind. And the consequences of this opacity for a company that really wants to scale globally, they must be severe.
Oh, absolutely.
You can't build those crucial, lasting, direct relationships with the end users, right? The actual researchers using the equipment.
Nope. You're always one step removed.
And you can't step in quickly if a scientist runs into a complex technical issue, because you might not even know who they are until it's already become a full-blown crisis.
Exactly. And think about product development.
Yeah.
Or marketing. You're flying completely blind. You miss out on hearing, let's say, Dr. Chen's specific feedback about why the new user interface on your $500,000 spectrometer just isn't working for her specific research workflow.
That crucial detail.
That detail, yeah. Filtered out, maybe lost, maybe just never passed on by the local distributor.
Yeah.
It could have been gold dust for improving your next product generation. But instead, the whole operation is just guesswork. You don't know what's really happening on the ground. And this is why, particularly in the scientific instruments world, visibility is everything. This isn't selling widgets. Scientific equipment is high stakes. The brand's value, its reputation, it rests entirely on scientists trusting not just the physical tool, but the whole support system behind it, the expertise, the responsiveness.
So if that local distributor is acting like a wall, maybe filtering conversations, maybe blocking direct access to your technical experts, your brand's reputation is actually being shaped unknowingly by a third party. A third party whose motivations might be, well, increasingly different from your own. That sounds incredibly risky for a precision brand that relies on global trust.
It is incredibly risky, but transparency flips that dynamic completely. As soon as the manufacturer gets clear, real-time data on every customer, every lead, every support ticket, they can start making much smarter decisions.
Like fixing problems earlier.
Exactly. Fixing issues early before they escalate. Investing marketing money where it's actually generating leads and conversions, not just where the distributor says it is.
And it creates alignment, presumably.
Totally. When both sides, the manufacturer and the sales partner, are looking at the exact same data, the same dashboard, they start sharing goals instead of constantly second-guessing each other's hidden agendas. It transforms the partnership. You move from being maybe secret adversaries protecting your own turf to being genuinely unified allies focused on winning in that market together.
And for the end user, the scientist.
Crucially, this openness gives them confidence. Scientists feel much more reassured when they see the manufacturer is visibly involved, close at hand. They know they won't be left isolated if something complex goes wrong with the equipment.
Okay, so the starter motor model, the distributor black box, it runs out of steam. But jumping straight to setting up your own full foreign office, that sounds like going from a scooter to a Formula One car overnight. Setting up a full subsidiary means huge fixed costs, right? Hiring local teams, navigating complex compliance rules, payroll headaches, taxes, plus maybe just one lonely person in an office far from HQ.
Yeah, for many small or medium-sized scientific manufacturers, that leap is often just. It's completely overwhelming, both financially and operationally. It's too much, too soon.
So we need something in between, something that gives you that control, that visibility, but without the enormous risk and overhead of going all in immediately.
And this is where the article introduces the red box concept, right? The red box direct managed office model.
Exactly. The managed office model is pitched as that transparent alternative. It's designed as a strategic, let's call it a halfway house. It gets rid of the secrecy, the black box problem, by making sure the manufacturer keeps full control over the customer relationships and the data, But, and this is key, you still get to leverage local expertise for sales and logistics. It's called the red box because it's open, it's transparent, it's measurable, not hidden.
Okay, so how does that work practically? What are the benefits of this red box model?
Well, the model ensures, firstly, the manufacturer keeps their own brand identity right there in the market. It's your brand talking to customers, not the distributors. Secondly, you get full visibility. Total transparency on every customer, every order, every support interaction. All the data flows directly to you.
No more black box. No more black box. Thirdly, you benefit from that essential local sales and logistics expertise. But, and this is the clever bit, without needing to set up your own legal entity or manage foreign payroll and compliance yourself.
Ah, so it sidesteps a lot of the administrative burden.
It does. And finally, it allows you to scale. You can scale your presence up or even down much more flexibly as sales performance dictates. You avoid getting locked into those heavy, fixed overheads of a standalone office too early.
Right. So it's basically transparency plus agility. You get the data you need to make good decisions, you maintain control, and you achieve that vital closeness to the customer, but without the financial pain and risk of premature expansion.
Precisely. Control without the burden.
Okay, we've talked a lot about business strategy, manufacturer needs, distributor fears, but let's bring this right back to the person who matters most here, the scientist at the lab bench. The article calls this section the scientist's currency. What's that about?
Yeah, this is maybe the most critical connection to make. Because scientists, as buyers, are quite unique. They're not like typical B2B customers. Their primary motivation usually isn't saving the university money or improving internal process margins, Their real currency, the thing they value above almost everything else, is results. Meaning high-quality, reliable data from their experiments. And getting that data without frustrating delays or equipment problems.
Because their careers depend on it, right? Their funding, getting published.
Absolutely. Their entire professional standing hinges on proving their research, publishing papers, securing the next grant. That's the cycle. So if they sense that opaque wall we talked about, a distributor who seems to be blocking them from talking directly to the manufacturer's technical team about a specific tricky application issue, they get nervous. They hesitate.
Because they fear being left stranded if something goes wrong.
Exactly. If the manufacturer feels distant or inaccessible because of that distribution layer, it translates directly into perceived risk. Risk that the equipment might fail them when they need it most. Think about it from their perspective. If a scientist is stuck waiting, say, 6 months for a vital replacement part for their machine, and the reason for the delay is that the opaque distribution chain meant the manufacturer didn't even know they owned that specific piece of equipment until the fault was reported. That delay could genuinely cost them their research grant or getting scooped on a publication.
Wow, that's the currency at stake. Not just dollars, but discoveries, careers.
That's it. So conversely, when the manufacturer is visible, when they're accessible, when they seem committed through a transparent model like this red box idea, the scientists just feel safer choosing that high-stakes piece of equipment in the first place.
So the transparency isn't just about managing sales better.
No, it's far more fundamental. It's actually customer enablement, you could say. Transparency doesn't just help you manage your sales pipeline more effectively. It literally helps scientists secure funding and publish their papers because it guarantees reliable, accessible support for the tools they depend on. That's the ultimate value proposition here.
Okay, so pulling this all together, what does it mean? It sounds like the black box, the traditional distributor model, is maybe okay as that initial starter motor, dipping a toe in the water. But for serious, sustained international growth, especially in the scientific field, that opacity just becomes a massive liability. It risks the manufacturer's control, yes, but maybe more importantly, it risks the customer's confidence in their results.
Yeah, the hidden nature just doesn't scale well when the stakes are this high.
So the future of international scientific sales really shouldn't be hidden behind secrecy and conflicting interests.
I think that's the core message. The red box concept, or something like it, is about providing that essential control and customer closeness, but without the huge financial and operational burden of launching a full overseas subsidiary prematurely. It's designed to be open, transparent, and structurally aligned for growth. You leverage local expertise, yes, but you maintain global visibility and control.
That really shifts the whole conversation, doesn't it? From just logistics and sales quotas to something much more strategic about global brand trust and enabling scientific progress. Which leaves us with a final thought for you, our listener. Building on all this, if secrecy really is a distributor's primary defense mechanism against being replaced, What level of shared risk and shared transparency do you actually need to build into a sales partnership to truly unlock the full growth potential of a new international market? Something for you to chew on until the next deep dive.
Thanks for tuning in with us. For more insights or to connect with our team, visit redboxdirect.com. Until next time, keep scaling smart.